customers, insurance has long been synonymous with complicated policies, lengthy delays, and frustrating claims procedures. But what happens when a historically conservative business meets advanced technology? The outcome is AI in insurance that's redefining how policies are drafted, claims get settled, and customers are served. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's podcast where we delve into the ever evolving space of technology. And I'm your host, Priya Dialani. Now, AI is no longer a futuristic concept, it is a present day reality that is driving innovation across various sectors. From underwriting and fraud detection to personalized customer experiences and claims management, AI is redefining how insurers operate. Now, today we will focus on two crucial aspects: empathetic service and AI in insurance claims. Now, for that, let's welcome Roi Amir, CEO of Sprout.AI. Hi, Roy, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Priya. Nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Great. It's a pleasure to have you with us on a podcast today, Roy. And of course, we are going to dive deeper into, explore a different perspective and an angle when we talk about AI and insurance claims as to how we can make it more empathetic. But before we dive deeper into the core issues or the conversation topics of today's episode, we would like to know more about Sprout.AI. So, can you help us understand more about the company, its specialization, or any particular solution the company is focusing on?
Yes, of course. So Sprout.AI is a company that was founded in 2018, and we are growing very quickly, and we are focused solely on the insurance industry. And within the insurance industry, we are very focused on making the claim process more efficient with AI. Our vision as a company is to make every claim better and to support people with their claims, over 1 billion people with their insurance claims by 2030. So we have really a high aspirations and a global view of how to solve a very deep problem for the industry, which is processing claims in an efficient way. As a company that is focused on the insurance industry, we have engineers and data scientists that build models and solutions from the ground up to understand insurance claims and to be able to solve and adjudicate and automate processes within the insurance claims. With the goal of helping insurers make the claim process more efficient, and their goal is to make the service to their customers better. So if people can get the claim settled within seconds rather than months, they can get paid faster, they can get healthcare, better healthcare and faster healthcare to them. They can get their cars fixed or their home fixed quicker, and basically support their livelihood in times of usually stress. And that's our goal, to support a lot of people through helping the insurance industry process claims in a much better way.
Right. Thank you for sharing that about Sprout.AI. And of course, when you're talking about claim processing and when, the company is focusing more on processing claims with AI and ensuring more efficiency, I think that's a very fundamental issue that the company is focusing on if you're talking about the insurance industry. Moving ahead, Roy, we would also like to know more about you. Can you tell us more about yourself? How has your journey been till date? And what exactly is your role and your contribution towards the company? And also, what triggered your interest with Sprout.ai?
Yeah, of course. So I'll maybe start very early in my career, maybe even before my actual professional career. When I was a teenager, I used to be a magician. So actually performing magic quite professionally. That's how I earned my kind of pocket money before moving to a more professional world. And later, I moved to technology. I was a software engineer in the Israeli Defense Force, and I was trained there as a software engineer and also trained others how to build sophisticated IT systems. And I believe that technology, and especially when you look at AI today, is like the modern magic. A bit like magic, we don't really understand sometimes how it works. And a bit like magic, it surprises us with the things that it can do. There is a quote from Arthur Clarke saying that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic, right? Because if it does something that you don't know how it works, it works like magic. So my career took me from magic to technology and AI. And in the last 5 years, I was focused on doing that specifically in the insurance industry. Before joining Sprout, I was with a company called Tractable.AI, which is also a UK-based AI startup in insurance. And I was lucky to support them on the engineering side in tremendous growth, including raising Series D and unicorn valuation, getting more customers, increasing the team, and increasing revenue for the company. So it was a really exciting journey, but also it exposed me to the huge opportunity, specifically in insurance and specifically within insurance in the claim process, and how much there is a gap between what customer needs and what they get and what insurers can do and what they do today. So this journey took me from being a software engineer to leading software organizations and customer success organizations in different companies to understanding the need in the insurance market. At the beginning of 2022, I was headhunted by the board to take over as a CEO of Sprout.AI. And I worked with the founder and took over the leadership of the company. And I was very lucky to get a company with a very innovative view of the market and idea of how to execute it. But back then, we still didn't have production customers, and the product was in very initial phases. So within the last 3 years, we built a very strong product. We acquired some really good customers. I'm very proud to have customers like AXA and MetLife, and Advanced Care, which is part of the Generali Group, and other brand names that we work with and support with many thousands of claims every day that we help them automate. We do millions of claims per year for these companies. So we built the product. We hired a great team. We're about 40 people here in the company. And despite being quite small, we punch above our weight. We work with very large organizations that rely on us day in and day out. And that has been an extremely exciting journey with the company and with the team. I always tell my team that we have only two assets as a company. One asset is our team, our people, and the second asset is our customers. And if we make sure that our team is productive and is happy and is learning and growing, and if we make sure that our customers are getting a really good return on their investment and get really good value from us, then the path for success is clear.
Quite an impressive journey, and what a thoughtful approach toward Sprout AI. And of course, you rightly mentioned that having the right team is so important for the company's overall growth, whether it's internal and external. And I'm glad that you have that team at Sprout.AI, and you're happily working towards the roadmap, the growth roadmap of the company. Now, in the complex insurance sector, I think the claims process has traditionally been a very time-consuming and error-prone aspect of the business. Now, whether it's healthcare, automotive, property, or life insurance, I think claims handling often involves detailed documentation, manual reviews, and a significant amount of human intervention. Now, these challenges frequently lead to delays. You have inaccuracies. You can also have to bear increased costs, and eventually, it all boils down to lesser customer satisfaction. Now, AI is reshaping this critical sector by introducing advanced automation, predictive analytics, and of course, machine learning models. So, how do you think that AI is improving the speed and accuracy of the claims processing while ensuring the equal amount of fairness in decision making?
Yeah, I think, Priya, you touched really at the heart of the challenge. Traditional claim processing is very manual. There is a lot of documentation and evidence that is related to every insurance claim. Even if it's a simple health reimbursement claim, there will be a medical report and there will be a referral letter from the doctor. There will be a prescription. There will be an invoice from the pharmacy and maybe a hospitalization report. All this information needs to be taken into account. All this information is unstructured, provided in different documents. So a lot of the claim processing starts by people actually keying in this information and reviewing this information on document, which is error prone. It's not efficient and it's slow. And the other element of it, not just the speed and efficiency, is that it's actually not the work that the claim handlers, kind of the people that work for the insurance company and serve customers in their claims process. It's not the work that they want to do. we did the research, and as a company that is focused on this industry, we are asking our customers, their employees, and our customers, so the policyholders, many questions about the industry. And when we asked claim handlers, we did a survey of over 200 claim handlers from the US and the UK. When we asked them what are the things that are most tedious for you that you would like to avoid doing, they said reviewing documentation and data entry. Tedious work, not a lot of added value, but it must be done. These are the types of roles or jobs that automation and AI can really do better, faster, more accurately than people, but also take away the things that people don't want to do. So it starts by extracting all the relevant information, structuring the information in a way that supports the claim process. Later, on top of it, we do many other things. We check the policy for coverage automatically. We enrich the data with additional data sources. We summarize information for the claim handler. So we provide a lot of decisioning tools and decisions in the process. So what AI can do is to take a process that is long and manual, make it quick and automated when required. And I'll come back to it on what is when required and when is the right times to do that. But what we saw with our customers is that we can help them reduce operational cost of claim processing by up to 48%, but in the same time, freeing their claim handlers, freeing the service people and we see that we free about 30% of their capacity to do other things. And these other things are basically providing better service to customers, handling more complex cases. So we help automate the mundane and free the claim handlers to do things that are more interesting for them, but also more important for the customer success. And so we support our customers by cost, operational efficiency and cost reduction on the claim processing, but also what they care mostly about is how to service their customers and how to provide their employees with better tools. And if I said in my company that I believe that we have two assets, which are employees and customers, I think that our customers are not different. They have two assets. They have their employees and they have their customers, and need to find the right way to satisfy both in the claims management process, which is where we're focusing.
Right, and think that's a really interesting perspective on how AI is enhancing the speed and accuracy when it comes to claims processing. And I think it's important that we're leveraging technology, specifically AI, to reduce the turnaround times. But eventually, I think it's not just about faster claims, but it's also ensuring that each decision that we're taking is accurate and even impartial. So when you talk
Exactly.
about fairness, I think it naturally raises questions around how AI models are designed and developed. I think finding the best ways to use technology is understandably a focus for our industry, but the key to success lies in finding ways for technology, soft skills, and empathy to work together. I think this is best done by investing in technologies that automate some lower level tasks and make employees' jobs easier, which helps to clear the way for more high level interactions with clients and customers. And I think that's where most of the AI focused solutions are trying to address the challenge here. But when we're talking about AI in insurance, I think AI is often seen as very cold and impersonal. So, how does Sprout.AI ensure that the AI driven automation enhances rather than replaces human empathy in insurance claims?
Yeah. So the interaction of people and technology is the key thing here. And there is a study that was done in 2022 giving people treatment. It's and I can share maybe reference with you later that you can add to the podcast listener to review. But there was a study done in 2022 that shows that in interactions between people and doctors compared to interactions between people and chatbot doctors. So they did it over chat, but one was handled by real doctors, physicians, and the other one was handled by a chatbot. 78.6% of the people ranked the chatbot, automated chatbot responses better than the physician, but better than the surprising thing, it was better both on quality side and on the empathy side. So they found the bot more empathetic than the actual physician. And when we try to understand why is that happening, it's not because doctors don't want to do a good job. is not because they're not well trained. They probably know the subject matter better than the bot, and could be more empathetic than the bot, but they don't have the actual time to do that. So health systems are always under pressure. Time of physicians is very valuable, and very, very hard to get. And when you need to see many patients in the same day and you need to switch from one patient to another, their ability to be empathetic, and their ability to provide a detailed responses that the patients need is not the same as a bot that has all the time in the world, can write long answers, and can present empathy. And I think that the key here is, how do we combine these two things together? How do we leverage tools, automation, AI, to provide the right tools to the professionals to free their time so they can actually do the right thing by the customer, and so they can be more empathetic. So the idea is not to replace physicians with chatbot, but to enable physicians with the right technology. So maybe the chatbot writes the answer and they review it and submit it. Maybe the AI, like we're doing in claims, takes a lot of the lower level tasks and mundane tasks that are not very interesting, but consume a lot of time. So it makes their work more interesting. It makes them happier, and they can provide better service to the end customer. So the key of empathy and cold or warm way of handling customers with AI is, how do we combine these different things? Now, when we work with our customers, our goal is not to replace entirely their existing process. Our goal is to enhance the existing process with the right tools. And we're actually trying to mimic the processes that work well and change the processes that don't, but we try to mimic the processes that work well with technology. To give an example, to check for a coverage of claim, does the policy actually cover the claim? Is the policyholder claiming for something that they are insured against? Can be a very long task. The policy document can be 100 pages. It may have a lot of changes along the years, and maybe many variation and amendments to the policy. So a claim handler need to review the policy and review all the different amendments to the policy in light of the claim in order to make a coverage decision. A lot of it can be automated. We can provide them today an insight into the policy and tell them, this paragraph tells you that the claim is covered. This paragraph provides an exclusion that you need to review. Here is an amendment to the policy that is not relevant, so don't look at it. But here is an amendment that is relevant, and it changes the limit. And we can give them a clear summary. So we reduce the time that they work on it dramatically, from maybe an hour to a few minutes, and we provide them all the tools. And now they can provide great service to the customer. So it's all about the combination. That's on the how do we support claim handlers with tools. But the other element is that not all the claims are the same for us as policyholders, as people that are claiming. There are some things that are very technical, and cold service and fast service is what we need. For example, if my phone broke, maybe the only thing I need is a replacement phone or a payout for fixing it. And that can be done digitally very quickly. But if I have a serious medical problem, I really need maybe somebody to speak to. If I if I had an accident that is serious, maybe I need somebody to speak to very quickly to get the support I need, and I don't want to go on a website. So the key here is to direct people to automate the solution where the human connection is less needed, and free time for people to provide the right service when the empathy is important, when creativity is important, where the problems are more complex, and where the human touch is actually needed.
Right, well said, Roy. I think it's like you mentioned, it's all about the combination. So when we are properly balancing the interaction of people and technology, I think that's when we can ensure the highest level of empathy, in any industry, irrespective of how you're trying to build the AI models. I think, and you shared some great insights on the numbers of the study that you mentioned, and I think eventually depends on that while humans can definitely, a lot of people believe that humans will definitely give more empathetic value, but I think the research or study that you stated, it's, shows otherwise. So while humans can give empathy, but I think somewhere they might fall short in the quality of services they provide, and that's where AI can step in, and it can balance both, where it can focus on delivering quality services, and also given focus on giving on more empathetic services, and ensure that the empathy element is present while delivering the services. Now, if you talk about, the empathetic service, like, we discussed, so I think that's one of the most significant advancement that AI brings to the insurance industry. Now, while AI may not be able to replace human empathy, it can augment it by understanding customer emotions and responding appropriately. Now, in the past few years, the number of negative stories about AI has increased, tremendously. Now, a tech entrepreneur Elon Musk has even stated that AI is more dangerous than nuclear weapons. So there have been a lot of cases in which advanced or AI-powered algorithms were abused and went or even caused damage. So transparent AI is, it's more like an explainable AI to employees and customers. So
Yeah.
now, when we're trying to implement that, I think that's very challenging because AI is not transparent by nature. So the question is, how can we make AI as transparent as possible, or how can we explain that how an AI decision was made, or what that decision was based on, or why it was taken the way it was taken. So next to transparency, I think there is also a question of responsibility in AI. So how do you think that we can ensure transparency in this AI-driven, claims processing and claims decisions in the insurance industry, so that everything doesn't feel like a black box process?
Yeah, it's a great question. And one of the challenges with AI is its black box nature. And the reason it's so magical is that, again, we don't really understand sometimes how it does what it does, right? How the AI makes a decision, how the AI composes songs, how the AI makes a coverage determination. We throw something into a model, and especially when we talk about large language model, and it throws an answer, and it may have hallucinations, and may invent responses that are not true. And how do we handle that as an industry? Yeah. And it's a very important question to ask. When I look at how we do that as a company at Sprout, we leverage different technologies and different types of AI models. We have our own AI deep learning models that we build, computer vision models, natural language processing models, classification models that we build. These models are more deterministic, right? They provide more specific response of yes and no for question or data extraction. It's easier to explain how they work. When we work with large language models and generative AI, I think that the challenge becomes bigger. And the way that we treat it is we never throw a big question on a big model and use the answer. So if I'll take an example of coverage determination, is my claim covered by the policy? Every one of us today can take the policy document, upload it to ChatGPT, and ask it the question, am I covered for theft of my bicycle outside of the house, for example, from a property claim? And the model will produce an answer, but the accuracy will be low, and there is a lot of chances for hallucinations. The way that we handle it is we don't do it this way. We break the big question of coverage to many, many small questions, like what is the peril? Is that theft, or is that water damage, or is that fire? Is that an accident? Is that another type of peril? Right. So, what is the peril in question? What is the item that is identified? And our models are trained to understand that. What is the value of the item? What are the possible causes of it? What is the policy covering in terms of the item and in terms of the circumstances of loss? We break the big questions of coverage to many pieces of small questions that the answer to is quite clear. And then we combine all these answers together to a decision with a set of rules. So it's easy for us to track back into why the decision of covered or not covered was taken, because we can list all the different small questions. Now, is that 100% accurate? No. No solution is 100% accurate, but the people are not 100% accurate either. So people make mistakes, models can make mistakes. Our goal as providers and our goal as an industry is to make sure that the mistakes are reduced to the minimum and are in the single digit percentages. We pride ourselves for doing a 98% or 99% sometimes accuracy of data extraction and claim coverage decisions. So to get to very high levels of accuracy that is better than human level accuracy of these decisions, and to avoid gross mistakes that sometimes AI can do through QA processes that we have and through breaking the big question to small questions that it can answer very clearly. So that both answers the ability to ensure accuracy and explainability and avoiding mistakes. It confronts all these things together.
Yes, very well said, Roy. And I think it's very important that while we are using AI, how do we ensure that we are really not, we're getting kind of rid of the entire black box process and ensuring that there's transparency and a responsibility, as well as, we're focusing on maintaining explainability, because I think the next frontier in terms of AI and, making sure that AI is responsible, is making it more explainable, and I think that's where explainable AI comes into the picture. So I think when all of considering all of these facts, I think AI will be there in the coming years. I mean, there's no way that we're going to see AI leaving the world, because its application across various industries, and even if you're considering that in insurance, it is gaining a lot of attention, significant attention. So AI-driven claims automation, it offers substantial benefits. We have more efficiency, reduced processing times, and of course, cost savings. However, these advancements also come with ethical challenges that probably require more careful consideration. Now, central to the discussion are concerns about fairness, transparency, and accountability in AI decision process that we already discussed. So I think as AI systems are taking on a more prominent role in evaluating and processing insurance claims, it becomes crucial to scrutinize the design and implementation to prevent biases and ensure more clear and justifiable decisions. So, how can we ensure ethical decision making in insurance while also balancing automation that AI brings into the picture?
Yeah, it's a very good point and topic to discuss. The first of all, when we implement new system, and that can be AI or can be any other technological system, we need to make sure that there are the right QA processes in place. You can actually implement AI first as a QA process as of itself, right? So today, when insurers make decisions on claims, they usually have a QA process, but they can only QA with very little sample of the claim, right? They can QA maybe 1% or 2%, and they have a review of these claims to make sure that they're making the right decision, that they don't have biases in the human decision process. With AI, what we can do, we can actually do 100% QA. So we can QA each and every claim decision, and we can actually flag for potential wrong decisions or places where we identify a bias for somebody to review that more carefully and see if they took the right decision. So you can actually leverage tools, and the fact that automation allows you to cover much more ground in order to avoid biases in existing processes. Now, in terms of teaching the models and making sure that the models are not biased and the AI decisions are not biased, there are several elements to it. First of all, the AI learns from the data that we provide it, right? So we train AI models based on historical data. We as a company also have the ability to train models based on synthetic data, so we can generate data that is not real, but that helps us train the models to high level of accuracy. But what we should make sure is that when we provide data to the models in order to make decisions, in order to train it, we do not provide data that is irrelevant for the decision. So, for example, if race or age or address is not relevant for a claim coverage decision, it shouldn't be provided to the model in the training. It shouldn't be provided to the model when we ask it to make a decision. So that's first point. What information do we use to actually train our models? The other element is to test the results of the model. And always when we implement with our customers, and I think it's true for every technology, we want to make sure that when you implement new system, it behaves in the way that you want. So at the beginning, like a new employee, um, treat the AI like a new employee in your company, and check the decision that it makes, that the action that it takes, and see if that's aligned to your philosophy, that aligned to the way that you work. And if not, then you need to retrain it, or you need to exit it if it doesn't do the right job. So definitely on us as providers to make sure that we train our models correctly, that we avoid biases in the process, and on our customers and companies implementing AI, they are responsible for checking that the results that it drives are actually correct and aligned to their philosophy, and helps their customers rather than damaging them.
Well, I completely agree with you, Roy, and I think one of the aspects that really highlights the overall scenario is what information we use to train our models. I think the data that you give to your AI models is very important because it should be clean, it should be structured. I think that's how the AI models are developed. So if your data is skewed, then it becomes very difficult to give very transparent to ensure transparency in the entire AI decision making process. So I think when we're talking about AI, it's automating repetitive tasks, it's improving real-time updates, and eventually it's improving the customer experience, and it allows insurance teams to focus on more complex cases. So having said that, one last question for you, Roy: how do you see the future of AI in the claims processing or in the overall industry, insurance industry? Of course, ensuring that the empathy is at its core.
So before looking at the future, I want to look at maybe at the past in the last few years. And we are a company that is focused on insurance and focused on using AI to improve the claims. And we started in 2018, much before the hype of large language model and generative AI and ChatGPT. What we have seen in the last few years is a big a kind of roller coaster in how the industry is treating AI and what people are looking for. 2 years ago, there was a view of AI is going to change everything. Nothing will stay the same. Everybody was focused on what can we do with it? How do we solve problems with it? Very eager, and all the CEOs had kind of task force to make sure that we leverage AI. They wanted to understand what is this new beast and how do we make the best of it. The challenge was that it was more around the technology and less about the problem that we're trying to solve. If I look a year back, that was like 2 years ago. If I look a year back, I think there was a bit of a disillusion. People thought that things will change dramatically and very quickly, and they haven't seen the benefits that they thought they would see so quickly. And the insurance industry is a slow-moving industry. It's a very traditional industry, existing for hundreds of years. And their adoption of technology is also not as fast as maybe other industries. But they got a bit disillusioned. And I think that the reason they got disillusioned, one is that the expectations were not in the right place, but also that the way that they adopted or tried to adopt AI was not right. And they started by trying to find what problems to solve with the technology, rather than saying, here are a few problems that we really need to solve. Let's find the right technology to solve it. And I think that has changed now. What we are seeing now, coming to these days, is insurance companies starting to see the results when they're implementing AI in the right places. They're implementing AI to automate mundane tasks. They're implementing AI to flag for fraud, implementing AI to check for policy coverage, check for damage on cars after accidents or property after natural disasters, to predict potential for fraud. There is so many applications there, and after trial and error period that the industry have gone through, and after doing different pilots and POCs, and some of them were successful and some of them were not, I think the industry is now finding the right way to do that. So that's really exciting. I think we're now at the era of realization and understanding where the benefits really sit. What is real benefit that we can get and drive the industry forward, and where are just false promises or things that maybe will come in the future, but they're not there yet. I think now we're in the trajectory to continue and push that forward, and moving from trialing to in the field. And we're today in the field already processing millions claims every year for our customers with AI. we're starting to see the benefits coming. And our goal as the industry is to make sure that these benefits are not just staying with the insurance companies, that the insurance companies are better off, but also that the end customers are better off. Um, what AI will allow us to do in the future is also to take us to the next level. So insurance has the purpose of helping us recover from a problem. Um, but the best thing, both for the insurer and for us as a customer, is to avoid the problem altogether. So how can we employ AI to, instead of helping me recover from an accident, maybe helping me to prevent the accident? How can we leverage AI instead of helping me with my or customer with their diabetes to actually help them prevent getting ill in the first place? And the good insurers and the good technologies will help us not just recover well from when we have a problem, but to avoid the problems altogether, which is better for society, it's better for insurers, it's better for the policyholder. And the future of insurance is around that. It's about great service, it's about preventing problems, and when there are problems, how do we help people recover as quickly as possible from it to continue their lives as before.
Great. And I think when human connection is combined with technology-enabled solutions, claim professionals will have more time for fully engaged customer experiences. And when employees are feeling their best, they will have the patience and soft skills necessary to be present and thoughtful with clients and customers. So technology that supports and builds a time for human interaction should be the priority for the claims industry. And I think that will be what will drive major success in the coming years. Well, thank you so much, Roy. It was a pleasure having you with us on a podcast, and thank you for letting us know that AI and insurance will continue to play an increasingly important role within the industry. But it will also function best when it is, combined with compassion and competence that human professionals offer. So, thank you so much for your time and effort.
Thank you, Priya. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much. So, this is for our listeners. Stay tuned for upcoming podcasts, and you can view all our previous podcasts on Spotify and other leading platforms. Thank you so much.